Hi everyone. So I'm here watching the Passion of the Christ movie, and I wanted to rewind to right now. I'm in an hour and an hour and 50 seconds approximately. But I wanted to rewind where right here where these guys are accusing Jesus. So, like I said, this is the Passion of the Christ movie, and I'm watching it um, through YouTube. And and the Pharisees, these niggas had some shit with Jesus, because if we remember the scriptures, remember what Jesus would tell them. He would say stuff like, "You guys are like your father, the devil. You brought him vapors or vipers. Yeah, vipers." He was talking, he was saying that to the Pharisees. So the Pharisees despised Jesus. They didn't fucking want him around. They didn't like him. So that's why they came up with all this bullshit accusations against him to have him crucified. And I guess, just like any other movie, it's basically, it could be a scene of Jesus saying that. And then, like, especially in these moments right here, to the point where they arrested him. But see that, because you read from the beginning of the four gospels, it says the stories of what Jesus did and everything, how it unfolded. But now through the movies, or through the movie, we don't get interrupted. We get to watch it right away, quickly. So we get to see certain things much quicker, and our mind process the information much quicker. So as you read the stories, the four gospels, and Jesus does that, he says stuff like that, it obviously offended them to the point where they wanted to arrest him and have him crucified. So there is actually an instance in here where, or many of them, like flashbacks. So that's what I meant. That's what I mean by this. There's flashbacks that as you're watching the movie, like when Jesus is carrying the cross and Jesus falls on the ground, there's a flashback where the mother, which was, or which is Mary, she seen Jesus fall as a child, even though it's not really recorded. And as a mother's heart, her desire, or her first reaction is to help him and make sure that he's okay. So as Jesus falls to the ground, or is on the ground with the cross, her first reaction is to run up to him and help him. So here I was just thinking about the Pharisees and how Jesus was telling them all that stuff, and we could see here how basically how they get at him.
Katanong ko yan ang sireng kumapit lang speak.
Gobernator!
Mati belum alasya. Yes, ka?
לכן לחווה אבד רשע לתת נא ללכו.
Deklari şaharet. Lama nasaktinne aldatko.
קונסול, אינדה לחווה עדתנה משפט אנש למות.
Mo. Ma avadanas denkidin karza alo.
חלל שפטנה, קונסול.
See right there, he said that Jesus had violated the Sabbath. But remember what Jesus said. Remember what Jesus said about the Sabbath. He said, is it lawful to help someone or not to help someone? When he would heal the sick, he said, pick up your mat and walk. And remember, they were having arguments with him because of this. And they were like, or Jesus was like, what is it better for me to say, pick up your mat and walk, or your sins are forgiven? And there was other instances in the Bible about the Sabbath. And Jesus even said like a parable saying something about if there's a sheep in a hole or something like that, wouldn't you pick it up or pull it out or whatever? I don't really know all the scriptures. I don't have my phone is charging, or else I would be able to look up all these scriptures to share them with all of you. But I can look at this video as a rough draft, and maybe I can edit it and make it more professional, to have a more clarified or clarifical video for the viewers to understand the information. And the only reason I'm sharing all this is because here's a man that had a vision and no one else was able to see it. And sometimes, like people say, it's hard for people to make a change when they're so accustomed to doing certain things a certain way. And I personally, I messed up because I should have, I came to the realization that I'm wrong. On all my ideas, I'm wrong. And I believe that the best way for us to advance and to grow is for us to really think about the ideas that we want to introduce to the people, to the public, and before we do that, we need to do it through like Photoshop, through the internet, and really think about the pros and cons. Maybe have a few models and think about the real pros and cons about those ideas. Because someone might think that one idea is great and they might do it, they might spend a lot of money on it. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially if that's what they believe in. But if we as a people, as a network of people, if we all want to work together and introduce something to benefit ourselves, everyone in the world, by that, not financially, but for all people, like the idea that I had for the homes. There's no pictures I can show you guys right now at the moment, but there's many neighborhoods out there with broken homes, they're moldy and stuff like that. So with the idea that I put on Invent or Don't Invent on Facebook, it requires one mold. And companies can create different molds and they can sell those molds, basically those models. And they could be sold, they could be made. Homes could be made within days. I mean, I'm not trying to get all spiritual with all you guys, but what Jesus said, destroy this temple and in 3 days I will rebuild it. I know there's a lot of spiritual meaning behind that, and he was talking about his own body, but this is a great idea because we all work our whole lives paying for one home. When we could spend $10,000 or less on concrete and to pour it into these molds. And I believe that if we do this, it will create jobs and it will allow everyone to have more hope in this world, because now they will look at it like, well, I could own my own home. I could live the American dream. I can do this, I can do that. And it all starts with us believing and having hope for the future. Because we have to think about the future. We might be frustrated inside because certain things are not going our way, or because we think things should be done one way, but in reality they're happening another way. But we have to forget all that. We have to just stand our ground. We have to be faithful with whatever God has given us. Even if it is a little bit, even if God takes everything away, we have to just have faith. And I'm talking about everyone in the world. So I believe that everyone could do this on any level. Like I was talking about, for people that are living in more poverty level homes, especially where there is no cement or it's all muddy, then just like Home Depot or Lowe's or any store, you could go yourself, if you want to do this as a business, you could go collect dirt, no, not dirt, like sand or rocks, and sell each gallon or each 5-gallon bucket for whatever you want. Because right now, I could go to the store and I could buy a bag of rocks for like $3, $4. See, and if you're somewhere where you have a lot of neighbors and people don't really have that luxury of going to the store, well, you could do that yourself anywhere. And instead of selling it for a lot of money, just sell it so you could feed yourself. Just enough for you to have something in your pocket. Even if you're doing it just for food, fuck it. At least you will have some form of income or substance, and you could do that all day long if you wanted to. But I just felt like sharing that because not everyone is everyone's on their own level of faith, their own level of finances. So I'm not knocking people that are poor, and I'm not knocking anyone that's rich, because it's like if you had money, you can't